Let's talk about climate change. It does exist, contrary to what they tell you on Fox News. Yeah, it exists. I thought this was really, really fascinating. So in a discovery that was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, which I get, obviously, scientists have revived a 30,000-year-old Siberian virus. Let's find out a little bit more about the discovery. So despite being frozen for over 30,000 years, after thawing pithovirus Siberium, close enough, infected a throng of single-cell organisms. Given that climate change is causing the ground to thaw in regions like the Arctic and part of Alaska, scientists fear that the lab experiment could eventually lead to spontaneous revival of ancient and unknown diseases. So basically stuff that has been underground and frozen for a long, long time, thousands and thousands of years, if not longer. I know they say that, what was it, Jesus rode to Texas on a dinosaur and 6,000 years ago or something. Definitely. But even before that, that because the ground is thawing, that suddenly we may release all these viruses and bacteria and toxins and all kinds of stuff that should have been gone a long time ago. This is sort of an angle on climate change that nobody talks about, and that's why I thought it was really cool, because two of my favorite movies, Outbreak and Contagion. So I do believe in these kinds of things. I also watch Walking Dead, so I assume a zombie outbreak is going to happen. Is something like this a little scarier maybe than the sea level rising, which will happen so slowly that we won't even know until we're swimming? Right. But like a disease could just, does that seem scarier to you? Could this maybe make it a little more?
Yes, it seems very scary, and I never heard that before. Where did you like find this?
I found that in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, which
you subscribe to.
I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, this is very frightening. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
And maybe some frozen person is gonna thaw out and kill us all.
We'll get Phil Hartman back. No, I'm
right. Technology confuses me.
Right, we're going to, thaw out Megatron. I had to get some sort of Transformers reference in here.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, is this something that maybe will push some of the skeptics to say, uh-oh?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, so far New York has become a place where hurricanes just happen now. That's like we've all just accepted that after hundreds of years of no hurricanes, now it's just like, oh yeah, every year or so there's going to be a huge hurricane in New York City. Like, within a year, now that's just an accepted thing. Snowstorms this year are also part of global warming. Like inclement weather, surprising
climate change now
climate
we call
change.
it, instead of global warming.
I'm sorry.
Because they go nuts.
Climate change. Inclement weather comes from that. This is just, I mean, this is amazing. Like, if this doesn't scare people,
but I don't think the people who deny it aren't going to. Okay, it's like preachers to the choir.
Yeah. So I totally agree with that. I don't think there's anything that you could present them with, because the scientific community, we talk about this all the time, is in unison that this is happening. But the people that don't believe it simply don't believe it. And that's why we have this crazy false equivalency every time it's debated on cable news. They put on someone who doesn't believe and someone who does believe, but that's like saying, let's debate gravity. It's happening. It's here. It's going on right now.
Did either of you watch? Did either of you watch I haven't watched it. The Bill Nye Kenneth Hanna.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But right, so they're debating things that are, one is based in fact and one is based in fiction or
a fictional book.
So what do we think that?
Although this could be based in, what a great day for dead 80s authors. I mean, Tom Clancy has to be smiling about an evil Russia, and Michael Crichton is up there looking down being like, I never wrote this one. This would be great.
That's funny. Russia's back with evil, the diseases are back. But really, what can we do as rational people? What can we do to have a debate about this that's going to make sense? Because if this doesn't prove it, if the sea levels rising don't prove it, if the crazy weather things don't prove it, fear of disease, whatever it is there just nothing? Is it just, what is it in these people? That's what I'm always curious about when I see the people arguing against it.
I have to go back. It's education, it's indoctrination, and it starts when they're really little. And when you're dealing with people who don't want to know the truth, and they teach their children that, and their children grow up believing that, there are monsters creating monsters.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is that religion has always been threatened by science when it shouldn't be. Religious belief can go with science. You can be a Christian, a Catholic, and believe that God created science,
Yeah.
that's an acceptable, you know, if you want to believe in creationism, okay, like believe God designed, like you believe in intelligent design, but you don't believe he could have designed us to evolve from apes. Like where's the line in your fiction, you know? And I think
Right,
that's,
it used to be a leap of faith, and now it seems like it's like a leap over a giant cavern. Like it used to be this tiny thing. You would have to take a leap of faith to say, I'm a believer. And now it's like I have to ignore a tremendous amount of stuff.
And it doesn't make any sense, because when you look at, you know, I'm really excited that, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson is relaunching Cosmos.
We've been talking about
which
it,
is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the great things about the original Cosmos and about what Neil deGrasse Tyson does and Bill Nye and all these guys is that they really are awestruck and, you know, the wonder of science. Like, it is amazing and it is beautiful and it is surprising and awesome. And you would think that that actually dovetails really nicely with religious beliefs. But kids are raised, and people are so threatened by the idea that, oh, if we acknowledge that these things are true, then where does that, like, where is our red line? Where do we stop? Where, you know, do we have to admit that Jesus, you know, wasn't born on December 25th?
Basically,
you know, like,
basically they feel that it shatters their reality. So, you know, so they basically deny it because it's safer, it's easier. They're scared. It's like the advertising. It's all about fear.
Yeah.
It's all about fear.
Look at the three of us, left-wing intellectual types, crapping on the right-wingers.